Love performed is love that fears truth. It is love shaped by fear, shame, and survival. It is safe, predictable, pleasing, but it is not real. Real love cannot exist inside a role. It cannot be earned by overfunctioning. It cannot survive on perfection. Real love begins where performance ends. When someone finally says, "This is who I am, even if it costs me approval. This is what I feel, even if it makes you uncomfortable." When love is no longer a script, it becomes a mirror, reflecting not what is ideal, but what is true. And only then does love stop being theater and become something human again. Humans often describe love as something pure, spontaneous, unfiltered. Yet behind closed doors, many perform love like a role in a play, rehearsed, shaped, and managed. They monitor their tone, adjust their reactions, hide disappointment, over-deliver affection. They don't express love, they perform it. This behavior is not manipulation. It is survival. This video explores how love becomes a performance, not just in romantic relationships, but also in families, friendships, and even the self. Because when love is learned through fear, shame, or conditions, it stops being connection. It becomes theater. 1. Childhood lessons on conditional love. Love begins in childhood, and so does performance. Children quickly learn that certain behaviors are rewarded with praise and affection. Good grades earn approval. Smiling earns safety. Silence earns peace. If a child is punished for expressing sadness, anger, or need, they begin to suppress these traits, not because they disappear, but because they are seen as threats to connection. This creates what psychologists call a false self, a carefully curated version of the child designed to win affection and avoid rejection. This child grows into an adult who performs. They become easygoing to avoid conflict. They become strong to earn respect. They become loving even when they feel unseen. The performance becomes automatic, and love becomes a costume. 2. The role of shame and approval. Seeking humans are deeply driven by social approval. But when approval becomes a substitute for love, relationships turn performative. If someone believes they are only lovable when they're successful, beautiful, agreeable, or helpful, they begin to suppress anything that doesn't fit the image. They perform competence when they feel overwhelmed. They perform loyalty when they feel abandoned. They perform attraction when they feel numb. This is not lying. It is emotional self-erasure. And it is often powered by shame, the internalized belief, the real me is unlovable. So they overcompensate. They give more than they have. They tolerate more than they should. They smile when they want to scream. All in the name of love. But love given from fear is not love. It is a transaction disguised as intimacy. 3. Romantic relationships as performance stages. Romantic love is often idealized, but many couples perform more than they connect. They role-play, the perfect partner, the supportive listener, the always sexually available lover. Behind these roles are people who feel emotionally distant, chronically misunderstood, or silently resentful. Why do they continue the performance? Because breaking the role risks losing the relationship. So instead of saying, "I feel disconnected," they plan a surprise date. Instead of saying, "I need space," they fake closeness. It keeps the image alive, but the relationship dies underneath. This is common in people pleasers, trauma survivors, or those raised with emotionally unavailable parents. They learn that being loved means being liked, and being liked means hiding anything unlikable. So love becomes a tightrope. Every interaction becomes a scene, and authenticity becomes the one thing never allowed on stage. 4. Self-worth and the fear of being truly known to be fully seen is to be vulnerable. And for many, vulnerability is dangerous. If they have been mocked, rejected, or abandoned after revealing their real feelings, they learn to keep them hidden. This creates a paradox. They crave deep, authentic connection, but fear what will happen if someone sees the unfiltered truth. So they perform love not just for others, but for themselves. They tell themselves they are happy. They pretend their needs are small. They justify staying where they are unfulfilled, because admitting otherwise would shatter the image, and with it, the identity built on being okay. This internal performance is one of the hardest to detect, because from the outside, they look like they have it all together, but inside, they are playing every role, except themselves.